The regular board meeting of the Westfield Washington School Board. We will determine if a quorum is present. We have a quorum because all 5 board members are here. I'd like to welcome the public to the meeting. It's always a pleasure to conduct the public's business in public rather than behind a closed door. So I appreciate everyone being here. It's always nice when we have a large crowd. I love that. We will start our meeting with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, if you could join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda is our superintendent's report. Dr. Gray.
Okay, we have several students to recognize tonight, and so with that, we're going to start off with some middle school students in recognition. I'm going to turn it over to Doug Luce, our athletic director and assistant principal at the middle school.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for letting us come tonight and celebrate some great things that happened this fall on the athletic field. We had a number of individual and great individual and team accomplishments, and so we wanted to celebrate this month and next month some of those team accomplishments. So I don't want to steal any of the coaches' thunder here, so I'm going to let them talk a little bit more specifically about their seasons. But they all did win county and conference championships this year, so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our coaches and let them talk a little bit. We're going to start with Coach Hagemeyer, and I know he has an assistant coach here as well, but I think Todd's going to come up.
Is this good right here?
Sure.
This is one of our team members here, Brendan Hacker. Just want to say I'm really proud of him and the rest of the 8th grade football team. We were undefeated, but I'm more proud of the men that they are. And I think you'll see that in the future. When we see these guys become young men, whether they're going to college or serving the country, or they become fathers someday, I have no doubt in mind that our future is in good hands. I'm really proud of our assistant coach, all of our assistant coaches in the program. Probably the 2 favorite moments I had actually happened in June and July. In June, we had a family come in from Virginia, and I corresponded with the father over email, and I just threw out there, hey, if you need help moving in, we'd be glad to help. And just a kind of a wink saying, welcome to Westfield. Well, that family took us up on the offer. So after a workout one day, we helped this family move in a matter of an hour and a half, coming from Virginia to here in one U-Haul truck. And they just live across the street there. So I was just really proud of our boys and our coaches who chipped in to help. They could have been at home playing Fortnite or something, but instead they were a fine citizen home. And then another thing we did was we went to an organization called IDES, which is International Disaster and Emergency Services. That's located in Noblesville, and we just did a community service project where we raised a little bit of money, and they were able to pack a dry meal that's shipped over, whether it's in a third world country or during floods, things like that. A meal is given to a family in need, and all those guys had their hairnets on. Remember that? A little hairnet on, with rice and vegetables. So those kinds of things, I think, go way further than throwing a football or catching an interception or things like that. But again, extremely proud of Brendan. Appreciate the school board and Mr. Luce and everybody that just gives us the funds that we need, the support we need, and the prayers that we need. So thank you again for this evening, and come out and watch us next year.
Good job. Thanks. There's a for the past couple of years in our coaches meetings, and I know our coaches instill this in our kids, but a concept that we like to talk about is trying to create committed student athletes, students who are committed to their teammates, students who are committed to their sport, but also committed to positively representing their school and community. I can't think of a better example of what Coach Hagemeyer just talked about today, so that's awesome. Volleyball, Coach Pat McAndrews and Katie Connor and their girls. I'm going to turn over to them and let them talk about their season.
Well, I'm Pat McAndrews. Brought almost all the girls today. This is Katie Connor, my assistant. I teach at Westfield Intermediate School. I've been a teacher in the district for pushing 20 years now, believe it or not. Katie is a member of, she's not a teacher, but she's a member of Westfield. And she is a business owner here. She runs and owns iBeach 31 and is a big part of our community as well. So this is both our first year coaching this group. And just real quick about our season, we've, like I said, this is our first year together coaching this group. And we had a tough, we were a little nervous going in as they were undefeated last year as 7th graders. And so my job was just not to screw anything up. And so they had a great season this year. Fortunately, we went undefeated again. And we're conference champs and county champs. And if you just, in the volleyball world in Hamilton County, that's saying a lot because there's a lot of talent in that area. And just that's a big, as far as talent and ability, it speaks volumes for these guys. One of the best thing about these guys is there's 18 of them, and they're all great teammates. We were definitely a team. With all the individual talent, we were a team first. Very supportive of each other. We had a lot of fun. They worked extremely hard, and obviously very competitive. And so I think this is the volleyball program's 3rd county championship since we've been doing this over probably 30, 40 years or something. So we're real proud, and that's a hard thing to do. I'll introduce them if I can. And by the way, these guys are I would get angry, sort of, because they would have to miss the start of practice because of National Honor Society meetings, other club meetings. They're just a great, well-rounded group of girls. Just great examples of students that we like and that we love. So we have Claire Castor, Kate Jala, Ella Murphy, Olivia Nelson, Emma Dodson, Alana Raven, Emma Sufton, Elizabeth Carney. We have Katie Sutcliffe, been too much, Valerie Weber, Lucy Montel, Addison Fisher, Gigi Iovino, Ellie Neal, Marie Dedamore, and Charlie Moore, aka Chuck. And then, so anyway, just appreciate you guys recognizing us and just taking the time. So thank you.
For the team and also for Coach Hagemeyer. And I just want to say thank you again. We couldn't be prouder of our student athletes and also our coaches as role models for our students. And Dr. McGuire's here tonight, so she gets to see what's headed her way, which is really awesome. And I bet she's just really getting excited. But thank you so much. And thank you for being here tonight, because we don't always get to see every game that you play or everything that you get to do, and I know that our board is really proud of your work, and we really appreciate that. So congratulations on your success. All right.
Your treat is
She's here. Okay, so I'll go ahead, yeah.
She is here.
I'm going to go ahead and go.
Yeah, so we'll continue with Dr. Grace's report.
Okay, so we are going to move on to our construction update, and Victor Landfair is here with Skillman Corporation to give us an update. We got a pretty comprehensive presentation, I think it was at our last meeting maybe, and now we're just continuing to get some updates.
to give you a little more detail this evening. First, I want to introduce Eli Miller, our project manager. I don't know if you've all had a chance to meet him, but I have a presentation. I just wanted to give you a little more detail, just go around. We went sort of did an overview on the last presentation and get a little bit into the weeds a little bit with you, just to give you enough. This is at the intermediate school. I'm sure you've driven by, you've seen that we really have the two additions are under construction, the MPIP edition and the classroom edition. And so as I give you an update, I'll reference those two. We also are doing some things on the inside of the building because those two additions connect to the HVAC, the main HVAC of the building. Progress to date, we've, if you remember, we turned over the parking lot the other previous meeting. We've now got curbs on those, and we're going to be finishing the paving those soon. We've completed all the underground utilities, the slab on grade for the MPEP, underground utilities for all of the site are complete. We've been finishing up the storm detention area. They're just to the northwest of the building. And then we've done some interior work to connect your boiler room to those new additions. It's just a couple photographs. That's the slab if you back behind the building, or if you see it from 31, that's where the new gymnasium MPEP area is. We're getting ready to set some steel here in the very near future, so we've got staging set up for that. You look at it with the classroom addition, we've got all the underground piping. We'll be getting ready to put slabs down with the classroom addition very soon, and then again the storm detention area. And the parking lot, I'm sure everybody's using it now. It'll be all wrapped up here before the end of the year. So next 30 days, structural steel. We're very optimistic that we're going to have structural steel next week and start installation. We've had honestly some delays in getting that here, and it looks like we'll be able to get started very soon. We're going to wrap up the slabs on grade, the classroom addition, which will put us in a position then to go put the steel up in the classroom addition after the MPIP is complete. We're going to wrap up the parking lot, and you've noticed the smaller parking area and drive area there directly south of the building. We'll be wrapping that up and getting some parking lot lighting up at the intermediate school. At the middle school, again, we have, if you recall, we're touching a lot of this building, but this initial phase, of course, is the large addition, the MPIP addition, classroom addition. We're also working in the old pool area, and we're also working in the north portion of the old cafeteria, which is going to become the new office area. So those are the three primary areas that we're working right now. In terms of progress, we've got a lot of site work. We're getting to the end of the site work, the utilities and other grading items. As you see when you drive by, the MPIP addition, we've got structural steel and decking up, we've got foundations complete, we've started the exterior masonry walls. There is a mezzanine, we've got that upper mezzanine, planks and slab and poured. We've got all of our electrical feed. You didn't know we rearranged, well, nearly every utility, Eli, that went to that building, it was rerouted in order to build, have an area to build the addition. So a major part of that was getting the electrical feed, a new electrical feed to the building, so that we could then remove the old one in order to build the new addition. So there's some photographs. I think this picture was taken Friday. It's already up above that. There's the interior shot, and we just poured the slab. Was that Friday or yesterday? Friday, poured the slab in the gym portion of the slab. Things going really well. We've continued working in the old pool area. We're bracing the precast walls so that we can do some demolition of the masonry. As you know, we'll be removing all the exterior, I should say the south wall and the upper east wall is going to be removed. All that precast is going to be removed. So we're putting in temporary shoring. I think we've finalized the removal of those precasts, and we'll be removing that precast very soon. The new office renovation area, we've been working interior. We're hanging drywall, so that tells you how far along we are. We've moved some interior columns, so there was some major shoring in order to accomplish that, as well as getting all the underground piping reconfigured for restrooms and such in that area. The other thing, a big deal for us, transparently, hopefully for the school, was that we replaced the boilers that serve that entire building. Those were replaced, so we took out 2 big boilers and put 5 small condensing energy efficient boilers. Those were tied in and turned over, and those are heating your building now as of 11/1. That was a big deal. And we also removed the existing transformer in the cooling tower, because as part of this project all the cooling will be centralized in the newer side of the building. So big mechanical, electrical things happening that probably are transparent to everybody. Big deal to us in terms of schedule and completion. You've probably seen that big hole in the side of the precast. The wall of the pool will be making a bigger hole here very soon. On the inside, sorry, the picture's not very good, but we've been repairing deck areas damaged by years of corrosive environment. We're repairing deck. We'll be replacing the roof. Really a complete repair and replacement of the exterior walls and the structural connections around the perimeter of that area. This is a photograph of the interior of the office area. You see the drywall getting close to finishing. Will be. I'm sorry, I'll have to come up some better photographs. This spaghetti is the structural steel that we're being. What this picture is a new beam supporting some existing steel, so that we can have the flexibility to reconfigure that interior. There's your boilers. So the next 30 days, we'll be really wrapping up the site utility components, the sanitary, rerouting the gas main will be the last component of those site utilities to be rerouted, and really removing all those abandoned utilities. So at the end of the year, we'll have a lot of that site work in terms of utilities complete. Our plan is to complete the exterior concrete masonry walls to get enclosure of the new NPIF addition. We're going to start roofing. That allows us to now start working on the interior with interior MEP mechanical, electrical, plumbing, rough ends for the locker rooms, as well as starting overhead piping. So our goal is to get that area enclosed so we have some where to work a little bit. We're really going to start seeing some things happening now in the old pool area, the new music renovations, removal of the precast wall panels the next 30 days, on the old pool deck, and actually starting putting back new work in the next 30 days. Office area, we'll complete those new beams and columns. We're going to continue masonry walls. We'll start painting, start putting ceiling grid in. So really starting to wrap up those interior. Our plan is to turn over the office area at the end of the year. And then now we're starting to remove those old chillers and boilers now that we've turned over the new equipment. And then you're going to start to see the other portion of that big addition, the classroom section of the new addition. We're going to complete foundations. We're going to write steel on that side in the next 30 days. The high school. Just as orientation for your call, I explained that the big first between now and next spring, our focus is going to be on the new classroom addition and the site work and utilities related to that. That's really phase 1. So we have located underground utilities. We've really got all our construction staging, fencing, barriers, all those things up. We've done a lot of demo. As you drive by, you see we removed all the pavement, walks, lighting, demos all started. And we started the underground utilities. There's quite a bit of underground utilities related to, again, relocating so that we can build a new addition. So we've already had the opportunity to relocate the gas line. And that was done. We unhooked the old one, hooked back the new one, and she didn't even know. Which is exactly the way that we want that kind of work to go. So that was a success, but we'll continue with other underground utilities in the future. So just a couple photographs showing you that that's actually the rough grading for the
building pad there in front of the new addition. And there's a snapshot of the gas line that went in earlier this week. So next 30 days, we're going to continue. Got a lot of submittals, a lot of building materials we have to procure to get ready for that big building. We're going to continue building up the building pad and doing. Really, we're going to be focusing on storm sewer over the next 30 days and getting a temporary electrical service in place. So that's my, I told Joe I would get it done 10 to 15 minutes, so hopefully I didn't want to drag it out, but I want to give you a snapshot of what we've been accomplished in the next 30 days, what we hope to accomplish in the next 30 days. Next month we'll maybe add into this presentation a little bit of cost information and see where we're at in terms of progress cost-wise. Do you have any questions? Eli is here to back me up.
Question?
I can one. Is the intent on the middle school where the precast panels are coming down, is that to replace that with some other form of masonry?
Yes, yes. We're going to, it's going to be metal studs and brick exterior.
Okay.
So it will, when we're done, it'll blend all into the middle school walls.
Good. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victor.
Okay, and then we have a very special teacher recognition this evening. I'd like to introduce Nikki Heflin. And we learned that Nikki received an award. And Nikki, you may have to even just tell us a little bit about this award too. And I get my initials right. The IAFCS New Teacher of the Year. And we also have Dr. McGuire with us this evening. And so hoping that we can celebrate this award for you, Nikki, and then also you can tell us a little bit about that, and then I know that Dr. McGuire is very proud of just the pathway that's been created for culinary arts at the high school.
Yeah, the award was through the Indiana Association for Family Consumer Sciences, and it's part of the National Association for Family Consumer Sciences. So it was for New Teacher of the Year, which confused me at first because I'm in my 5th year of teaching. But it is for teachers who are in years 3 through 5 of their careers in Family and Consumer Sciences. So that was a great honor. And then from there, I was nominated to be New Teacher of the Year for all of Career and Technical Education. And that did go to another teacher in Health and Human Services, which is just fine. It's great, but in great company. So both were quite the honor to be recognized, and Westfield being on the map too, and the support there. Just, I feel like our whole school system was really recognized for being a leader in family and consumer sciences education in the state of Indiana. It's great. Yeah. So thank you.
Would you like to add
Also,
anything?
for those of you that may not know, Family Consumer Science is what used to be called home ec. And I guess I think Nikki will take this as a compliment. When I hired Nikki, even though it was called Family Consumer Sciences, we had a home ec program. And the extent of the culinary and nutrition pieces that were happening in the classroom is they were making mini pizzas on English muffins. And so when we had a chance to, the teacher retired, and again, that's where she was, trained and developed, but knew that there was so much more out there. And I had the pleasure of meeting Nikki, and I think within 3 minutes I offered her the position. She's so connected with our philosophy and our vision, and she's a visionary as well. And she is so passionate about kids and instilling in them the importance of nutrition and the importance of wellness. She has completely exploded this Family and Consumer Science program. And you'll be seeing in upcoming meetings from Victor how we're designing the building around these things. So we've gone from making little English muffin pizzas to offering multiple courses of global nutrition. That we just had a huge global fair, and our kids were there, and they made cuisine and courses representing 6 different cultures and celebrating 6 different cultural holidays. She has started the FCLA Foodies Rock, which is an extracurricular culinary piece where our kids are understanding and doing catering and food prep and all of those things. We are really working on some partnerships that I think we're very close to getting a corporate partner to sponsor our culinary and arts kitchen. That will be something there, so we'll have some of those pieces. And when you just look at kids getting connected into something, I think this will absolutely be a career pathway for some kids that were looking for something. But as far as connecting to a passion, for a lot of others, it's something that will take with them forever. So this young woman has, without a doubt, transformed our programming, and her vision is setting us such on the right path. But the lives of the children and the kids that she's impacting is just second to none. So I don't know who the other lady was, but they should have picked her. Hands down, that nobody compares to Nikki Heflin. She's fabulous.
Thank you. And Nikki, if there's someone, because our students do catering, so if there's someone in the audience or someone that goes back and watches the recording of our school board meeting, what should they do if they're interested in having the students do some sort of catering for their event?
You can reach out to me, Nikki Heflin, through my email at heflin@wws.k12.in.us, or you can give me a call even on my cell phone or our school number 317-867-6842 is our direct line. And we have several different menus put together from catering. We did 425 covers for the World Food Event. So we are happy to partner. We've done cooking classes with the Girl Scout troops, several pizza making classes we can do. We are catering tomorrow for the end of season volleyball celebration for 100, a pasta bar. So you name it, even if the sky's the limit with these kids. They can pretty much do anything that you set your mind to you want. So it's very custom made. And we had the pleasure of catering for the Kiwanis Club, the meet and greet, and that was an appetizer and dessert. So we can really do anything. They can do anything. They can.
Thank you and congratulations on your award
Thank
too.
you for the support.
Some more students we're really proud of. Our high school sham robotics team is here this evening, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys. You're growing in numbers.
First off, I would like to do our official card for our year. This has all of our information on it. It has our social media sites. It has our email on it if you have any questions you'd like to forward to us. We have a video for you guys that was produced by the robotics.
This isn't a robot. It very well may have hydraulic arms, a drivetrain, and a circuit board. But this isn't a robot. This is a lesson in humility, hard work, and collaboration. This is a CrossFit workout for the muscle upstairs. This is an apple for the next generation of Newtons. It's a lot of things, but this isn't a robot. This is a roadmap that leads straight to engineering. This is a rock to shatter 1,000 glass ceilings, a rook to pull a generation up and out of poverty, a sledgehammer to break down cultural barriers, and a universal language spoken in every nation on earth. And because of that, this is a compass that can help point the way to peace. But please, don't think this is just a robot. This is Glastonbury for technology. This is mission control for the next moonshot. This is the Rosetta Stone to help translate the future. This is the spark that will help us win tomorrow. This is the software to program ourselves to cure cancer, build a clean engine, or step foot on Mars. But this isn't a robot. It's a machine to build the people who will change the world.
So my name is Danny. I'm one of the coaches for the high school robotics team, along with Matt and Renee, and we have a number of others. One of the key hearts of this program, sort of like the video alluded to, is it really does a phenomenal job at bringing together, professional, be it engineers or people from all manner of disciplines, bringing them, connecting them with students, and getting them to sort of show what the grand scope of it all can be. Yeah, we build a robot, but it is just a vehicle for teaching life skills, teaching how to solve really big problems. This robot is something that is presented in a vague and abstract way. It's meant to play a game, and then 6 weeks later, we have to have it in real life. We go from a rule book to a robot in 6 weeks, and that's a phenomenally big problem with very little guideline. And so those are some of the things that this program is really good at showing the students how to work through and overcome. And so now I'm going to hand it over to the students, and we'll let them kind of give a little bit of an explainer about the team and some of their experiences.
Alright, so hi, I'm Noah. I'm a junior at Westfield High School. I currently am the leader of the outreach team for our team. We hold events throughout our season, including our unveiling at the end of the season, which we will all be inviting you guys to. It will show off this year's game robot, which is called Destination Deep Space for the game. And it will be based off a moon-themed game that hasn't been revealed yet, but we'll get that at our kickoff on January 5th.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm a sophomore at high school, and I'm working on a team this year. So I'm here to talk about programming for the robot. So we write code for our robot in Java, which is one of the most popular languages on the planet right now. And we have to code for our drivetrain and for our appendages, which are the little additions to the robot that add additional functionality. We also have to code an autonomous mode for the robot where it drives itself and completes game objectives all on its own. A few weeks ago, we had to add new parts to our robot, and we had to quickly code in the new functionality and use those parts as efficiently as possible in a short amount of time, which we managed to pull off, I'd say, very well. So anyway, here's Ryan.
Hi, my name is Ryan Hanchu. I'm a freshman in the high school, and I'm a rookie on this team. And we built this really cool and big robot that you get to go and drive it live competitions against other teams, and you get to work with new people. And this is really cool because you get to meet new people, you get to learn really good engineering skills and how to work under pressure. And in this 6-week period, you build a massive robot that is really fun to drive. You're amazing.
Hello, my name is Mason Wyman. I'm a freshman at Western High School. This is my first year on the robotics team. I transitioned from the middle school team to the high school team, going into it thinking that it would be a challenge, but in the long run, it really wasn't. The mentors on this team are amazing, and all across the first community, everybody's amazing, helpful, and they really look to push the students to do their best, not just to help them, but to help the students. It's a great feeling to know that people behind you can back you up if you're wrong, or if you need help, or if you're just looking for someone to talk to. They're there for you, and they are there to assist you with the problems you have. Any students that look to do this, that are scared for the challenge, really shouldn't. They are perfectly fine. It's an easy thing to come into, all the help you have, and it's just a really nice community to be a part of and to learn from. It's very big.
I'm Faith. I'm a junior and I'm educational with personal impact impact. So I've worked on and was worked on, and I wanted to find a way to incorporate that with robotics. So I think it was became lead for imagery and design of the project. So I can do that out on the work. Also, I made new friends with this team and work one bonds with our youth members. We've also made a lot of friends with people from other teams, which is great. We have competitions, you know, I can talk them and choose them and their teams. And it's really good. And I also gained a lot of confidence in myself. I've improved on my public speaking and Zoom skills, and I'm still not that good at public speaking, but it's a lot better than before. today. And inclusion is being asked to guys have greatly affected me and my friends. If you have us, do you have any questions?
I have one. So last year when you came, I can't remember if you invited us or if you came, or maybe both. You handed out a card, and at your competitions you could go and watch online, and so you got me hooked. I watch all your competitions online now, and it's great because it says exactly when you're coming on and who you're going to play against. So it's really a lot of fun. You got me hooked with watching you guys online. So you probably have a lot more fans than you realize.
Well, thank you very much. We don't know what the game is for this coming season, but we do know what competitions we're going to be competing at. So we are going to be competing up at St. Joe, up at Penn High School. We'll have our first competition, and then we'll get to compete down at Center Grove a few weeks after that.
We'll be competing at Lafayette Jeff in Lafayette, not at Center Grove. And then ideally, we'll be making it to the state championship in Kokomo, which will take place in April.
I was going to say it's a team sport. A few more minutes. Any other questions?
Do you have sponsorships? Are you looking for sponsors? How can other people get involved?
Absolutely. So currently we do have our sponsorship form, which we send out. And Nate, do you have it?
No, but Dan turns around.
Yeah, so last year we had our rookie season in which NASA gives out their rookie grant, which is about $5,000 to all rookie teams to help them afford the cost of registration and creating a new team. We also had several other sponsors, including FedEx, which helps ship our stuff to St. Joseph High School, where we competed at our first event, and as well as we had Rolls-Royce, Dow AgroSciences, and Argosy Foundation, in which we all had our original 9 members sit down at a Saturday meeting, which is about 7 hours. We all sat down, got emails, sent emails out to sponsors, called them and talked to them, gaining each of our sponsorships.
So the team does fund itself. So we, like I said, we go out into the community, we try to find a variety of sponsors, and that is more of the skill set the students learn from presentation to planning a budget and trying to go through and find that sponsorship, find that money. So we have a few of our big ticket items checked off already for this year. We have a couple grants that cover registration. We're still looking for costs to cover materials for the robot, travel expenses, and some of those things. So if anybody has any ideas or any suggestions or any places that we could reach out or would like to make a donation, we have some business cards we can get in touch. And we are super excited to pursue any of those opportunities. I think I'll just take a quick moment here to brag about the team for a little bit. We are coming into our second season as a FRC robotics team. We had a phenomenal rookie year last year. The team competed very strongly at their 2 district level competitions, made it to the state tournament where they competed for some of the rookie awards. They ended up winning the Rookie Inspiration Award, which was a very big honor. And the robot performed well against some of the tenured robots in the state. And we had a phenomenal amount of fun and a really great experience. And the team went from 9 students last year, and we graduated 2. And we have about 23, 25 students on the roster this year. And we haven't even gotten to the fun stuff yet. It's been a lot of pre-season training and learning. And so the cool parts are still in front of us. The team's looking to do big things this year, and we're really excited. So I think that's about our 10 minutes. But you guys have our cards. For anybody else, shamrockrobotics@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us. Or let's say thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Keep rolling? Yeah.
Okay, and each month we like to recognize one of our schools too, and something that might be happening in their school. So tonight we have with us some Maple Glen staff, and I'm going to introduce Mrs. Riley, and she can take it from there.
So we'll get started because it's about bedtime for some of these kids. But we just wanted to share a little bit about what we're doing, and I had asked staff, because we have a spotlight at the school board meeting in November, what do you want to do? And our 4th grade team said, we have something, and they were so excited. So we are going to jump on that. This is a quote that I shared with all of our parents at the beginning of the year at our back to school meeting when they were meeting teachers. It says, by putting a book into the hands of a child, we can put hope directly into that child's hands. We can put love directly in that child's hands, and we can show them, look, you have the power to make this world better. And I share that with parents because this is the work that we do every day, and that we are challenged with, but also gifted with. And so with this also comes our daily piece, and kind of where our teachers and students become experts in making the world a better place through their work. So this ties into our school-wide goal, and our reading goal at Maple Glen is that we develop readers who take ownership of their reading development and growth and have a positive reading identity. And we know that we get better at robotics by practicing robotics. We get better at volleyball by practicing volleyball. And we get better at reading by practicing reading. So we are going to talk a little bit about one little tiny piece of our day that has a huge impact on building a positive reading identity for these kiddos over here. And believe it or not, before I came in here, a 4th grade boy said, what? We don't get to share the book report part? So this is a little bit of a modified version of what they're going to do, but I think it's kind of incredible to hear 4th grade boys say that they are sad that they don't get to talk about the book report part. So I'm going to give it over to our experts, our teachers, and they will bring in the students.
So how we got here we call this our status of the class. And a couple years ago, I was a little discouraged when I would hand that reading log to my students, and then when they would turn it in to me the next week. And they said, well, I didn't have time to read. And I realized just week after week and seeing that pattern emerge that we were really losing valuable reading time from week to week. We weren't getting that real-time data that we wanted from our students and just understanding their identity as a reader, their ownership as a reader. And so over the summer, I had just done some reading and just trying to figure out, instead of forcing them to change, I kind of flipped the switch and said, what am I going to do to change? And so I came across this idea. It's called Status of the Class. And it just led me to really ask, how can we keep them accountable? How can they see patterns in their own reading and reflect on their own growth? Because we really do want them to take that ownership piece of their development. So basically, just kind of took a chance and, literally threw away the reading log and decided that we wanted to try Status of the Class. And our team is a pretty collaborative team, and so they jumped on board, and so we all decided that we would try this. And so this is our 2nd year of doing this, and this is a daily activity that is a part of our community circle time. And we just really wanted to give kids an opportunity to share. We wanted to give them an opportunity to recommend, and just to build that community, and we'll talk about how that's done. But also, we really wanted as teachers to have that in-the-moment opportunity to see their development and have those conversations and have the opportunity to build their stamina and interest. So that prize is them to kind of demonstrate what we do on a daily basis and kind of talk through that process.
So each morning, we do a status of the class, and we walk in to the classroom, the kids unpack, they get their supplies, and they come to the front of the room, and they have their books ready to go, ready to talk about. Then the teacher usually brings some kind of accountability chart. I'm usually making notes to myself on their reading progress. And today is not typical, tonight is not typical because generally, and each of us does it a little bit differently, that I would choose about 5 or 6 students each day and give them some time to talk about what they're reading and to share. I'll maybe dig a little deeper on some books. I may just get enough from a kid and we'll just move on to the next person. But it really helps me know them as a reader.
tonight because every single person here wants to share their book. And isn't that exciting that they want to share their book? So we're going to give them all a chance, and so I'm just going to kind of do a really quick demonstration of how we do status of the class with a lot of kids tonight. So they know it's going to go quick, so I'm going to do that. All right, so good morning. Good morning. Let's start with, okay, Austin, what are you reading?
I'm reading The Lost Hero. It's in the series of the Heroes of Olympus.
Okay, and what page are you on, Austin?
I'm on page 55.
You're on page 55, and can you tell me really quick something that's happening that you just read?
So one of the demigods, Leo, just got claimed as a son of Hephaestus, and that's one of the gods.
Okay. And usually I'd ask him a little bit more if I didn't get enough there, but we're going to move on. That was a good job, Austin. Okay, Lily, what are you reading?
I'm reading Little House in the Big Woods.
And what page are you on? You finished your book. So can you tell me your favorite part in Little House in the Big Woods?
So on Christmas, Mary, is the oldest kid. She had a rag doll, and Laura got a rag doll. Since Mary already had one, Laura was really excited that she gets one too.
I love that. Okay. Luke, how are you doing? Good. Okay, what book are you reading?
I'm reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets. Okay, what page are you on?
Page 238.
Okay.
And right now, it's Valentine's Day, and Harry's walking through one of the corridors, and he meets these dwarfs that Pedro and Lockhart sent to give him a Valentine, and they're singing a poem.
Okay, the dwarfs are singing a poem to Harry Potter. That's awesome. Okay. All right, what are you reading? Making Bombs for Hitler. That sounds interesting. And what page are you on? You finished it. Okay, so can you tell me your favorite part or something really interesting that you learned in your book?
My favorite part is when Rita was so worried about finding her little sister, but she left her camp, when she was 6. Her little sister sent her a note and said that she was safe.
So she found out her little sister was safe. Good. Awesome. Okay. And Claire, what book are you reading?
I have recently finished the book, and I have a book report.
Okay.
And my main character is Grace, and he's very sunny. And what he did to show that his strength in the book, he says that he loves school.
Okay. Good. So you're telling me some strengths about your character after you finished. Great. Valerie, what are you reading?
Things Not Seen.
Things Not Seen. Okay, that's a good author. What page are you on?
87.
87. And what's happening right now?
So Bobby woke up in the morning to take a shower, and then after the shower, he looked in the mirror and saw that he was invisible.
He was invisible.
And then a few days later, his parents got in a car crash, so then they had to go to the hospital, and now they have to stay there for a few weeks. And then Bobby's trying to sort of, like, undercover.
He's trying to survive at home alone, invisible.
He made an excuse that he had to
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay, Ava, what book are you reading?
Winter House.
Winter House. And what page are you on?
298.
298. Ooh, you're towards the end. What's happening right now?
Right now, Elizabeth and the character had this really important book, and when she went to go check on it, it was gone.
Oh no. That's gonna be a big. Is that a big problem? Okay. Good. All right. What's your book that you're reading? Judy Moody in a Mood. Okay. And what page are you on? 53. What is happening right now to Judy Moody?
Judy Moody went to pet store and gave her pet, and so getting your pet, she got a Venus flytrap. She had to run and get spiders, flies, and bugs around the house. He got them, and then he went to go get a hamburger. And he put it to the Venus flytrap, and the Venus flytrap died.
Oh.
Judy Moody's very mad.
Her brother killed her Venus flytrap. All right. Yep. Okay. All right. Next, what do we have? What book are you reading?
I'm reading Blood, and I'm on page 50.
Okay.
And what's happening right now is a guy keeps dumping waste into the water, and this one guy got really mad at him, so he decided to set the lines
Ava, we were talking about this earlier, but do you think that that story has some, the name of that book is what? Blush. So you think they're tied together? Yeah, okay, I think we've found a connection. Elsa, what do you have there? Page 5.
And what is happening right now is Cass and Max is having in a book from Mr. L and Miss Davis and Gloria because they found the books and they really wanted it. So they were really frightened when they were on it.
Okay, very nice. Okay, Carson, what you have?
I am reading a series of unfortunate events in Colorado, and I am on page 76.
What's happening right now?
Violet, Krabs, and Simon are trying to get to Hotel Donovan to find the volunteers of VFP so they can solve how off from the ceiling the road and fortune.
That you will count on. Okay, thank you. All right, Pete, what do you have?
Charlie, the chocolate factory.
Charlie.
43.
Page 43.
And right now, Charlie just found a dollar on the ground and like 10 cents is a lot for them, so a dollar bills are
Yeah, it's about to get good. Okay. Cam, what you have?
I book is Funny Kid for President.
Funny Kid for President. Okay, what page?
20.
All right, what's that book about?
Well, the main character is Max, and he is funny, and he's misunderstood because his teacher keeps blaming stuff on him.
Okay. Does he cause some problems? Or no? You don't know yet? Okay, good. I'm going to check back with you on that. All right, Beckett.
I'm reading I Totally Finance for middle school today, and I'm on page 293.
Okay, 293, almost through it then, right? Okay, what's the best part of that book so far?
So Jamie to the bottom one of the Halloween competition, and if one of his friends, she told him that his dad had cancer, so she wouldn't be able to compete, and then she died.
Oh. Okay, Ashley, what do you have?
I'm reading Harry Potter and his Visiting Mask Band, and I am on page 368, and so far, or I'm reading right now, Harry, Ron, and Hermione just figured out that Professor Lupin is a
That's a good part. All right, Carolyn.
I'm
Ruby Slippers.
and I'm on page 170. Right now, Ruby has is at a new school, so, and then they have a talent show she has no choice to do. So her teacher picked the group she had to do. She got stuck in the group she did not want.
Oh, we've all been there, haven't we? Yeah. Okay. Isabel, what you got?
My book is Lunch Money, and I finished it.
Okay.
My book is about a boy named Red who loves to make money, and he starts making comics with the money.
Right, making comic books to sell, right? Okay, good. All right, that brings us back to the start of the circle, right? And that's kind of how we wrap it up, and then I have enough notes that the next time around I can follow up with kids and ask questions, or if they're not making progress, we can check in on that. So that's kind of how we do it.
And when you're experimenting with some of this, you always want to make sure that it's showing the kind of improvement that you want to see. And I think that you guys can all see that they're very excited about sharing their books. That's one of the huge things. They're choosing their own levels, their own stories that they want to, and then they are really applying the skills that we're teaching them in class to not just the books that we are having them read, but their own books and carry on through. The other one is expanding their reading. A lot of you guys have gotten different books because you've heard other kids say, ooh, this is a great book. And so it expands. If you have one child who's kind of stuck in a rut with this kind of books, you're like, ooh, I like that genre. Or because a friend of theirs is reading one and they recommended it and it's 5 stars, they say, oh, okay, I think I want to try that one next. And the last thing is the connections that they make. You know, you make connections in school because friends, BFFs, you make connections on baseball teams and things like that. But now they're actually making connections with each other on the kind of books that they're reading and or several books that they already have read. And it kind of creates that learning community just within the classroom and even over the grade level. So that's kind of what
So I just want to kind of wrap up with one final quote about these kiddos and their teachers. Dreams lurk in books. We must never forget that. We've been given the privilege of this life and teaching that we have. Let us have the strength to start where they are and lead them. And I feel like this is exactly what they get to do, is take charge of their own reading, start to lead themselves with this process. So this is just one little tiny piece of our day, but has a huge impact. And so I just want to thank all of you and your parents for being here tonight. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, and thanks for giving us some time to talk. Can I just say a quick word? The teachers in the school. Yes, just stand behind. Oh, great, guys. Can you just stand behind? It's gonna go.
Make sure I did the bingo call.
Can everybody see me? If you can't see me, then I can't see you. Can everybody see? Cam, do you need to go around? Yeah. Everybody see? Ready? We'll take a few. Awesome. Any parents that want to get each other?
Nice
Great job.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Okay, and the last item that I have is for the Westwood Washington Public Library appointment. And actually, this is a reappointment.
So this will require a motion and action by the board. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve Nancy Knockel as the school appointee to the Westfield Washington Public Library Board as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Nancy Knockel as a Westfield Washington School appointee to the Public Library Board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. That's your whole report.
That's it. Well, yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Dr. Gates. Okay. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. The board has been provided the items in the consent agenda prior to the meeting. Is there any comments? The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Baldwin.
Good evening, everyone. You'll see that the updates are in red. This is a time for a smaller packet for personnel, so it's a little bit smaller as we're kind of finishing up, mainly with those clubs and some of those areas. So I just ask that you approve personnel as listed this evening with any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Baldwin? Okay, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve personnel as listed.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve personnel as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Baldwin.
Policies. This is the first reading, so no action needed this evening on the policies. Again, I think we're just about, I want to say it's the last group to come to you, but we're pretty close with that. So a smaller list, and some of these are even some updates since we've sent them through the first time, just some tweaks to the policies. But again, no action needed. Please let me know before the next board meeting if you have specific questions or input regarding the policies.
So on the policies that are to be rescinded, do those require 2 meetings as well?
That would be, yeah, it's second reading for them as well. Yes, we'll bring those to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, to approve to rescind those.
Any other-
Again, those are just based on either we've morphed those into other policies or by trying to clean up policy practices that we have, and we don't necessarily need a policy for those areas anymore based on code changing.
Any other questions for Mr. Baldwin? And on the next item on the agenda is with Dr. Madeline.
Thank you very much. We have gone through the RFP process, and 2 months ago, we interviewed 2 companies that came forward in regards to our energy conservation behavior modification. And Mr. Baldwin, myself, Frank Kelly, who is our director of Sodexo in the maintenance and facility side, and Mrs. Neff interviewed 2 corporations. And we're thrilled to bring to you the recommendation for Synergistic. And in the audience, and this truly shows the commitment of this organization to want to leave Texas, 75 and to migrate up to Indiana. We really appreciate Dr. Hoff, who is the vice chairman of Synergistic, for coming. Dr. Hoff, would you like to share a few things with the board in regards to our endeavor that we're going to embark on with you?
Sure, thanks, Joe. Again, my name is Dr. Randy Hoff. I'm vice chairman with Synergistic, and I think I finally thawed out. It's been a while. But I brought with me 2 local colleagues. Tim Sturgeon is with me from Noblesville, and Amy Zeigert is from Indianapolis. So we're excited. Synergistic, we work with schools and universities across the country, 1,400, all shapes and sizes, some of the largest universities and schools all the way down. And what we do is we provide funding sources for schools. That's what we do. And the way we do it is through the utility budget. Our average client reduces their utility spend by 26%. And then we're able to redirect that money that was going to the electric, gas, or water utility back to the programs, back to the students and the infrastructure of the school district. So that's what we've been very successful doing. I spent a lot of time with Joe and his team over the past few months, and we've studied Westfield, Washington, and we believe there's $1.4 million of net bottom line savings of funding opportunity available for Westfield, Washington over the next 5 years, and we're excited about that. That's the first thing we do, but we also do a couple of other things. We help improve the comfort of the schools as well. We bring our engineers and our staff that's on site and our technology, and we analyze not just to save energy, but to make the learning environment as optimal as it can be. That's very important. And then the third thing we do is we're going to create a culture of sustainability. Green teams and student involvement, working with the EPA and Energy Star, we're going to position Westfield, Washington as a national leader in sustainability. So all of that is in front of us. We know where to go, and we're eager to get started. So thanks for this opportunity to come here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do any of you have any questions for Dr. Hoff? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The administration recommends to the board the contract for approval for behavior modification of energy conservation with Synergistic.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the guaranteed contract for behavioral modification.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the guaranteed contract for behavior modification, energy conservation as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is high school course offerings. Dr. McGuire.
Thanks for having me. I apologize for leaving most of you in the cold at 6:15 today. It's been one of those days. I had to run home, and I live in Indianapolis, and with the construction on Keystone, I just tried to come up with the wrong time, and I missed you by about 14 minutes. So I do apologize for that. It's our annual course book that I'd like to present, and a couple big changes. Normally you see a 9th grade book and a 10 through 12 book. We have gone back to just one book. We've had taken feedback that the book is too overwhelming, and with freshmen coming in, it's too much, so we've had this 9th grade book for 4 or 5 years. And then what we heard is, well, had we known there were these other classes, had we known this was part of a pathway. So I think it's just like everything, it ebbs and flows, right, in pendulums. So we've gone back to one course book to kind of put all of it in there together. You will see, and you're actually going to hear a presentation with Matt Petman and Dan Doherty at the December board meeting about the new graduation pathways. There are significant changes coming for the class of 2023, the incoming freshmen. So you will see some of those things in there, and we'll talk more with you about that next month so you can see. Normally what you're most interested in is the new courses and the different things that we have. So if you can find those on page 5, and I believe Jill had those as the display there. really, I can talk about any of those that you would like to, but what most of these are, again, as we have worked so hard to build our academic pathways and whatnot, you'll see a couple academic courses. We are finally able to offer the AP Spanish Literature and Culture. I feel like we have built enough of a step there, and again, this is almost like a junior level college course, but feel that we're finally able to offer that with student ability and interest. A lot of the other courses are now, since we've built that academic piece and have those offerings, a lot of our offerings now are really trying to fill those career tracks and those pathways and those exploration places, and as we've been focused on certifications, allowed to do that. You'll see an EMT program that we are really, really excited about. So since our CNA program, our nursing program has had such success, we're saving significant money from J. Everett Light. We're doing it instead of 6 credit hours. There, we're doing it in 2. Instead of 180 days, we're doing it in 60 days. We had 65 kids enroll in the initial class, and 63 out of the 65 passed the state board exam the first time out of the gate. So definitely see the interest there. So have been working for about a year. So we are really excited about the EMT piece. You'll see a medical Spanish piece that's kind of on there. Again, trying to fuse a lot of those different things to give our kids more of an advantage. We think that will really help. It's not conversational, but it specifically focuses on medical terminology so that no matter whether you're an EMT or a CNA or eventually an RN or a doctor, that you have a base conversational ability to talk in medical terms in the Spanish language. So excited about that. You'll see a lot of the computer science and information technology as we are really trying to blow up those computer science things. A lot of our sophomores, so our computer science A, the AP computer science A, is a lot of sophomores that take that. So by the end of that year, they don't really have anywhere to go. We have a great partnership with IUPUI, and you'll see the cybersecurity and the software development, which is going to allow those, and kids will actually be able to get up to 12 hours if they decide to continue on through Ivy Tech. So very excited about bringing that part up. I apologize. After the EMT, we're also doing a farm tech licensure program. Yes, Dan and I talked about it at the soccer sectionals a year ago. That we were talking about trying to get that done. So I apologize to backtrack there. We already have the signed agreements with CVS. Our kids will internship there. They're going to sponsor the hours. The kids, if they complete the program, will walk away with their farm tech license to get done there. So everything else, I can go a little bit deeper on some of those if you want, but those are really kind of the 2 areas that we were focused on. I could keep talking. I will turn over to you guys for questions, but I really would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Dan Doherty and Carrie Larison. This is a monstrous task. I know it's 87 pages and you think, well, it's not that much. It is incredible to make sure everything is continuing to stay aligned with NCAA clearinghouse requirements, changing state requirements, what's on the core credit transfer library, what counts as dual credit, making sure state titles are aligned with CTE titles so we get proper funding. You'll see a report at some point from Brian. Westwood High School generated over $1.2 million just by offering the classes that we offer and having the licenses that we do and having the right people in place like Nikki Heflin and whatnot. So it takes time to make sure all that lines up so that we get paid the right way. And Dan Doherty and Carrie Larison, Matt Putman has a huge role in that as within the CT part. But in putting all these things together, they just did an absolutely amazing, fantastic job with the help of our content area directors and department chairs. Incredibly proud of this product to put in front of you tonight.
Awesome.
That's great. So the chair will entertain a motion.
Actually, I got a question for Stacy.
Okay.
That's okay?
Yes, sir.
If you could refresh my memory, especially when it comes to the new courses, which comes first? The demand the department feels the students want to have these classes that causes you to go out and have to hire the people that can actually have this skill, or figuring out that there are people in-house that have the talent to offer these courses,
yes,
and then finding the demand.
So as you know, we build our student schedule. It's all student driven. So again, we kind of put all these titles out there, and then have our process for going through and selecting. basically everything we have, we can do it with our existing staff. So here, we're gonna, the high school is doing the presentation, and I believe we've narrowed it down, but you might be hearing from our freshman mentors next month. Still debating on what we're gonna bring to you. But if you do hear from them, you'll hear about finding your passion, your purpose, which is again what we're instilling across the board with our staff. So a lot of these comes from a staff passion and purpose, that in kind of seeing kids and working with them in existing programming. Hey, here's an extension. Here's another way we can do this. Some of the CNA, like we don't have anybody to do a farm tech thing, right? We don't have anybody that can do the EMT licensing. But how we generate, since those courses generate funds, we use those funds to pay for part-time teachers to come in and do it. But before we ever do that, Mr. Lutz, like we ensure that everything is set up, all the articulation agreements are there, so it's ready to roll if the kids sign up and want to do it.
Great.
So really, for the most part, I would say 90% of it is driven by existing staff, and then just like Nikki growing the culinary arts program, if we had the space and the resources, I could absolutely have 5 full-time culinary arts teachers. I mean, it is just absolutely blown up, starting from the survey courses all the way through. And you'll see that we're offering a culinary piece that is accredited by Ivy Tech as well. So they'll be getting college credit there. So again, you know, we can only do it with the staff that we have. So I hope that answered the question.
Thanks.
Dr. McGuire, I think, so first of all, thank you for doing the pharmacy technician thing.
You're welcome.
I love running.
I told you, it fit right
Oh
in.
my gosh, I am so excited about that. I love it when I can work with pharmacy students from Westfield High School up at the college. In fact, I talked to one of them yesterday, and one of the things that happens is if they can get that training in high school, and they just changed the rules. This is way more than anybody wants to know, but just change the rules so you can get that while you're still in high school, and you can come out and have a job right away. And I think one of the really cool things is I hear you talk all the time about preparing somebody for the day after high school, and they can go and have a career as a pharmacy technician, but they can also have a career path that will lead them to higher education. So to me, that was really one of the really cool success stories, really neat. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. And that's exactly what we hope for,
Yeah.
is at least get them in a field in the area that they're interested and passionate about, and out of the gate able to make a sustainable, you know, living, and then take that and translate it however they need to, 5, 10, maybe even 15 years down the road.
So exciting stuff.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
Just love all the courses that we offer and provide.
So now the chairman will take a motion.
I'll move to approve the Westfield High School course offerings for 2019-2020. Good grief, as presented.
That's crazy, isn't it? There was time to look like, where are these numbers? I thought, where is the time gone?
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Westfield High School course offerings for 2019-20 as presented. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Carrie Allday.
Evening. Well, the opposite side of the spectrum, tonight I'm bringing you a grant for the Indiana Early Literacy grant. And this is a yearly grant. It's a non-competitive grant. At one point it was competitive, but now we just show interest at the state and present a grant. And then depending how, there's a certain pot of money, and depending how many schools across the state show interest in this grant, then that's how they split the money up. So this year the grant is, we were awarded $33,306.40, which is about a decrease of a little over $10,000 from last year. And it could mean the pot was smaller or more schools were interested in participating. The grant is focused on our early learners, so our kindergarten, first, second graders, all in the area of literacy. So talk about the work that Maple Glen talked about tonight. When we really think about what do we need to grow our readers, it's books. We need to make sure that we have like those high quality books in our classrooms to support our readers. And so that is what we're going to use the majority of this money for, is to spend some really time inventorying what we have and what we need for our early readers, as you know, as parents, it's hard when you have like a kindergartner. You can't just go to the library to get them a book that they can read if they're an early reader. You can get great books that you can read as a parent, but finding those books that are early readers are a little more difficult because they're written in a very special way, and so that's where we're looking to target the money. In addition, we're going to do a few more Thomas Pinnell assessment kits that help us with our reading assessment. So that is what our goals are with this grant, and so I just recommend that you approve the Indiana Early Literacy Intervention Grant.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the early intervention grant as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and second to approve the early intervention grant. Is there any discussion or questions? You did a great job. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Tom Michael.
So back in March, we brought an easement agreement for the Casey Road property. The Citizens Energy Group wanted to run a sewage line up the side of the road to the north. Now they're coming back wanting to amend the original easement agreement to also run a water line. So we've had Andrew Romano review it, and he's good to go with it as well. So if there's any questions, otherwise ask that you approve.
The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Go ahead.
No, by all means, all yours.
Motion to approve the First Amendment to the Casey Road property easement as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Casey Road easement First Amendment. Did you say March?
March was the first one we did.
Okay.
So,
and that was a sewer?
Yeah, first one was sewage in March. They still haven't started that work yet. So, but as they were getting into it, Citizens decided they also would just run the water at the same time.
So it's the same company.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, discussion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Tom Michael.
So we are asking, with the changes in 1009 this year, our goal is to end transportation, CPF, bus replacement, and the general fund all at $0. Just that way it'll make the change over to the new funds a little bit easier instead of transferring funds later. So, and then also with the $3 million GO that we did earlier in the year, we will be transferring 1.5 from CPF into the general obligation bond, which will free up some dollars in general or in capital projects. So with that, we are asking to move up to 1.5 out of CPF in a rainy day, 175,000 out of bus replacement in a rainy day, and 50,000 out of transportation in a rainy day. It's worded up to, that way it gives us the flexibility at the end of the year. We don't think we'll go above those amounts. If we did, we would have to come back for another approval to move the money. But it gives us flexibility that if we're at 25,000, we can move that, but we could also go all the way up to 50.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolutions to transfer funds from the bus replacement fund, resolution 2018-24, capital projects fund 2018-25, and the transportation fund 2018-26 into the rainy day fund as presented.
Thank you. It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to make the fund transfers as presented. Is there any discussion? I just wanted to tell you lots of things are changing with our board. And my very first board meeting, we were presented with $0 in our rainy day fund. And now it's likely we will have more than zero in our rainy day fund.
We will have more than zero. We are going to do an additional appropriation for 1.5 of that, so majority will be
I said more than zero. I
but
said, all right.
more than zero.
I was
yes.
doing what you did. So yeah, it'll be more than zero.
Yes.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Tom Michael.
Alright, it is that time of year again for tax anticipation awards. So basically it is a short-term loan to cover the cash flow purposes from January until we get our first tax disbursement in June, and then our tax disbursement in December as well. So by the end of the year, these are completely paid back every year. We are looking at doing one for the education fund, the operations fund, and then the operating referendum. That's very similar to what we did last year. It was the general fund, capital projects, transportation, and the operating referendum as well. It's just with the change in the fund names for next year, it looks slightly different, having the operations fund capture two of them under that with the transportation and CPF. These amounts are the maximum that can be issued. I will tell you, before they actually get issued, we have the ability to size them down, which we do every single year. So we will not end up issuing the full amounts that are listed there, but it gives us the flexibility to do up to that dollar amount.
And by approving these don't come back to us then.
Correct.
Any other discussion, questions? Mr. Tom Michael? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve tax anticipation warrants resolution 2018-27 as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve tax anticipation warrants as presented. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Tom Michael.
All right, and then finally, acceptance of donations. There are really kind of two main donation areas this month. There is a digital piano that's being donated to Westfield Intermediate School, the music department, and then estimated value of that's about $1,250. And then there's a list included in your board packet of donations to the Westfield High School Dance Marathon. So request that all those are approved.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion about donations.
I'll move to accept donations and grants as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept donations and grants as presented. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do you have any cards from our audience? Would anyone from HCLA, would anyone from our audience like to say anything? Okay.
Just for the joy, it's been discussed.
Okay, hearing none. Our next meeting will be November 27th. We'll have a special board meeting in the Westfield Washington Woods Community Room. Any board member comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved. Second? Second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.
I didn't think that was hang there that long.